Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. We are still growing. We're about to hit that 13K. If you haven't had your Hainas Prima smash that subscribe button, go and have her smash it right now. First and foremost, let me give a shout out to the following Patreons: Jon Wick, DAUSHERRERO, Abuelitas Journey, GiGi, G, Chevelle 66, Marius, Michigan Wolverines, Jack, Nova, Big Bad 48, Let Our Actions Lead Others to Christ, Miguel, Isaac, Claudia, Fio, and AI Vega. If you haven't already signed up for that Patreon, hit up that comment link below. You definitely don't want to be missing out. This episode right here is about two gangs, right? Two different gangs, Southern Hispanics, Sureños, from my experience as a correctional officer in the California Department of Corrections. Clearly, gangs are notorious, gangs are infamous, gangs are big, gangs are worldwide. But there was two in particular that caught my attention. And those two were Clanton 14 and Westside Verdugo, right? Mount Vernon. Now, why those, Hector? What about those two? I mean, you have gangs in there like 18th Street Gang, El Monte Flores, Shelltown. You got Pomona. Man, you be having them all, right? Florencia. Because those to me, right? To me, and you want to know how green, well, myself, I can't really speak on everybody else, right? I always try to stay up to par, up on my game when it comes to stuff like this, right? Man, I would have been good on IGI. Man, I would have been good. Too bad I spoke my opinion, right? So, Clanton 14, Charlie Yard, Centinela, Level 4 GP, for me, for the years 2007 to 2014-ish, right? 7 years working that facility off and on. When I first saw that number 14, this is before you had Northerners at Southern institutions, right? I had enough common sense to know that the 13 represented the South and the number 14 represented the North, right? For the letters in the alphabet, organizations that they may or may not belong to, and stuff like that, right? It's kind of basic. That is basic 101. So when I remember seeing a 14 on the yard, a tattoo, I'm like, what? Right? Kind of caught me off guard, right? I'm newer. Jumpsuit still green. Your boy isn't going to go up to that guy and say, hey, man, what is up with that? Why do you have a 14? Why? Because that, number one, that's going to make me look like I don't be knowing what I'm talking about, right? And sometimes I definitely don't talk on subjects that I don't be knowing nothing about. So, I may or may not have asked a partner. I can't even remember, right? Internet wasn't so prevalent back then where you can just like pull out a smartphone, right? It was kind of in the newer phases, not so easy now. So kind of doing my research, okay, Clanton 14, they adopted it's kind of tripped out and interesting. It's interesting for real. That they were able to like hold on to that 14, right, that number, and still represent the South. So I'm like, okay, cool. And the reason I bring that up is because there was a lot of stabbings on Charlie Yard. A lot of 2-on-1 removals, a lot of stabbings, a lot of attempted murders. That was like normal program for sure. And there was this one individual. Right, I'm never going to say like alias, AKAs, last names. I would never do that. I would never put anybody out there that ain't, unless you are a horrible manager from Sacramento, right, and you have a bad heart. Ooh, right. Pull those curtains, pull those sheets, right? We see you. Right, we see you. So, this one dude in particular, he was from Clanton, and he would participate in stabbings as a suspect. He would go to the back, C6, and then shortly afterwards, I would see him right back on Charlie Yard. It was kind of like a rotational door, right? Like a revolving door. And since I kind of bounced around, I would be on C yard, right? And then I would work C6. So you see the same dudes, right? And I would, in the back, I would kind of talk to them, pick their brain a little bit. They were not giving up game at all. But, you know, little hints here and there, you can put two and two together. You're like, all right, I know what time it is, right? I see what's going to happen. What's going to happen. Especially if, like, other races were going at it, right? They would make the comment of, like, oh, it's not over. Or stuff like that. So then you know, oh, shit, it's not over. They're still going to keep going. Basic, right? The other one, Westside Verdugo, San Bernardino, Mount Vernon. I started in Charlie Gym. Pescadito, brand new. I was young. The inmates were young. They didn't care. I pretty much didn't care, right? You guys are grasping young adolescent mentality. Like, yeah, clearly two different sides. Clearly two different colored uniforms. One's wearing green, one's wearing blue. One represents the law, the other one breaks the law. But mindset-wise, I dive deep into the mindset on this channel. Mindset, they were going to go for it. Mindset, I was going to go for it, right? And that's what scared me. Yeah, I'll keep it real. Scared me. There was one dude, skinny guy, Mexican, wasn't even a giant at all. Probably size-wise, like thinner built than me for sure. Probably my same height, but just thinner builter than me. This dude, he had some type of tattoo across his face, like a WSV. It was big, right? And those eyes, right? Those eyes. I talk about eyes when there's an incident, right? When the like shark eyes, right? When the incident and it's on and cracking and you see them coming, right? You see the eyes, but these eyes stayed on. They stayed on that way. Like, and the dude wore glasses too, and I don't think those glasses. I think those glasses for me made things worse. Like hey, this dude, and he was young, man, and I was young, so it's like. Maybe in that guy's head, he probably like, I'm going to go for this guy. Because in my head, I'm like, I'm going to go for this guy too. Like, yeah, we're going to get jumped. We're going to get jumped by like 100 dudes in the gym, right? Or 50 or 80. But like this is a guy that I got to be careful for, right? And he had that WSV. And again, I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to put anything out there that may even identify this individual. But again, your boy has to go do his research. I did my research on that guy maybe twice in my career. Did I pull a C file, an actual C file, youngsters? Not on the SOMS, the computer, right? Standard Offender Management System, whatever it's called, right? System Offender, I don't know, SOMS. I've been out a few months, my boy, memory's shot, right? PTSD, erectile dysfunction, the whole nine. Here we go. And I remember looking up his crime or whatever. His crime wasn't too. His crime, if it's the same guy, it was like involving robbing an old lady or something like that. So I wasn't tripping on the crime, right? It was like, right. But I remember in the gym, those eyes. And sizing each other up. We were never disrespectful to each other. Right? I don't even think we had words. Ever, good or bad. But I can assure you that we always had our eye on each other with this guy, right? So what's up with the Westside Verdugo, Hector? You're talking about this guy. You're talking about the tattoo. Well, I mean, don't get it twisted. I ain't never cruised around that hood or anything like that, man. I never even been there. But to me, if you're going to be And no disrespect, but smaller? I don't even know if they are a smaller in size gang. They might have numbers, right? They might have a lot of numbers. I'm not sure on that, but they're not going to be your big 18th Street, MS-13. They're not going to be your well-known, right, Pomona 12th Street, your well-known, like, gangs. But I can, from the research that I did, and the individuals that I've came across, they were about the business, right? To lack of better terms, lack of better words, right? That's how we can relate and identify and correlate, like, hey, these dudes were not to be messed with. There was, since I'm talking about the younger years, right? Well, the Westside Verdugo based out of San Bernardino, but talking back, looking back, there was another youngster, right? These were 2007, right? They were probably my same age. More than likely, they were my age. This other inmate had a tattoo across his lip, right? Across his lip. And I had zero communication skills, man. He had like a baby face. The homie had a baby face, right? Tattoo across his lip. And your boy has zero communication skills. So I'm like, hey, man, trying to develop that rapport with whatever I can dish out, right? Like, hey, man, what kind of job are you gonna get like that on the streets, man? Like, yeah, I know, kind of a lame thing to throw out there, but like I said, I had zero experience. And he's like, a porter. Dude, that homie was ready for it, right? A porter. And that kind of set me aback. Like, man, these youngsters, like, they don't care. They don't care, right? And it was a different time back then because dudes were not getting released. Dudes were not going home. Like, there was no hope. There was clearly no hope. So they didn't care. Like, that was their life. And that took me back, right? Like, damn. I don't know, man. Not that I can see myself in them because they chose that route, I chose my route, but there's just something to be said about misguided youth. Damn, that's the message for today. Message for today is misguided youth, right? You do not, and I repeat to any young individuals out there, you do not, and this isn't coming from your mom. This is coming from me. You do not want to make any mistakes, right, that are going to jeopardize your future. Keep pushing forward.